it's stored value cards or cell phones or web access to transactions.
Yeah.
More and more, everything we do will be traceable.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a big issue for anybody right now thinking about microfinance and the poor, but I think if you extend a few years into our technological future, it is, and it's one of the things I recommend be on your radar screen.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more. In fact, with every step we sort of take in the technology field, we're actually more concerned about those sorts of aspects than we would be sitting here in this country. To what extent does an ID list or registry, facilitate genocide? Does it facilitate the role of a dictator in repression? Does it have any of those sorts of implications? And I think that we have to be cognizant of the potential downside of any of this sort of thing, and how does one even get their head around, that set of issues. So I can only say that, in fact, when we had a conversation with Bill and Melinda and in sort of a technology session some time ago, not a couple of weeks, but maybe a month ago, that was one of the issues that came up. Was this even a good idea, and what are the implications around sort of security and personal security and the roles of governments and states that are perhaps more volatile and ultimately more repressive than our own here. And so we couldn't agree more that there are some enormous concerns, not the same kind of privacy concerns that drive people in the States. I mean, people in the States have this whole sort of privacy thing that, frankly, we lost. It's gone. It's not coming back, from my own personal view. That's not quite so much the same issue. I think the issue is actually personal security and the role of government in a lot of other countries, and that's a tough one. We'll have to see about that. Now, remember, most of the cell phones overseas are prepaid. You're not on a plan. There's not an ID associated with the phone yet. We'll see. We'll see, how that plays out, whether the know your customer rules and anti-money laundering and all that's going to drive us to a situation where actually it all does become identifiable, and then we have those problems exponentially greater. So I think these are issues that one has to confront. I don't think you're going to stop the development, period. It isn't going to happen. This is commercial. It's going. I think our role with philanthropic money is to make sure that it does the best for the people we care deepest about. We're not going to hold back the tide of POS and cell phone payments and all that. We're not going to somehow say, it's coming sooner or later. And what we can do is to mold it as best as possible for the kind of concerns people we work with have. Feels like to me.
Hi, Dan Norell from World Vision. My question is around role of government. And on one of your slides, you had that the foundation would like to see less direct service provision of financial services for government. But then you also talked about